Today's story begins with a rising conservative figure, a loyal Trump ally, and a spokesperson known for her aggressive, unapologetic communication style, Karoline Leavitt. During a recent political appearance that quickly went viral, Leavitt made remarks that ignited immediate backlash across social media, cable news, and political circles. In a moment that critics are calling reckless, dangerous, and deeply divisive, she referred to Democrats using terms like terrorists, illegals, and criminals. Supporters cheered, opponents erupted, and the media went into overdrive. What exactly did she say? What was the context? And why did these words strike such a nerve in an already fractured political climate? This is not just a story about one comment. It's a story about language, power, outrage, and the escalating tone of American politics. Let's break it down, calmly, clearly, and factually. WHO is Karoline Leavitt. Before we dive into the controversy, it's important to understand who Karoline Leavitt is, and why her words carry weight. Karoline Leavitt is a Republican political strategist and former Trump White House communications staffer. She gained national attention as one of the youngest and most aggressive defenders of Donald Trump, frequently appearing on cable news networks to confront journalists, challenge Democratic narratives, and energize conservative audiences. She is known for a combative communication style, sharp, rehearsed talking points, strong alignment with Trump-era rhetoric, and a refusal to soften her language, even under criticism. To supporters, Leavitt represents a new generation of conservatives, fearless, media-savvy, and unwilling to back down. To critics, she represents the escalation of political hostility, where outrage becomes strategy and provocation becomes currency. This divide is essential to understanding why her comments landed the way they did. The moment that went viral. The controversy erupted after a televised or recorded political rant, shared widely across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. In the clip, Leavitt was responding to Democratic criticism related to immigration policy, national security, and what she framed as radical left behavior. As her tone intensified, she used language that immediately set off alarms. She lumped Democrats together, characterizing them with terms such as, whether said in frustration, hyperbole, or calculated provocation, the words were unmistakable, and they traveled fast. Within hours, hashtags began trending, political commentators weighed in, clips were replayed endlessly, and outrage spread far beyond partisan lines. The central question quickly became, was this rhetoric political criticism, or dangerous dehumanization? Immediate reaction. Social media erupts. Social media reacted with speed and fury. On one side, critics accused Leavitt of inciting hatred, demonizing political opponents, undermining democratic discourse, and normalizing extremist language. Many users pointed out that labeling political opponents as terrorists has historically been a tactic used to justify repression, exclusion, or violence. On the other side, supporters defended her aggressively, arguing she was speaking metaphorically, she was calling out extreme policies, not individuals. And Democrats have used similar language against Republicans for years. Some conservatives praised her for saying what others are afraid to say. Others framed the backlash as manufactured outrage designed to silence conservative voices. The comments section became a battlefield, not just over Leavitt's words, but over the state of political discourse itself. Media coverage, outrage versus ratings, cable news, networks quickly seized the story. Left-leaning outlets framed the remarks as dangerous rhetoric, evidence of radicalization within the GOP, and a threat to civil discourse. Right-leaning networks focused on free speech, hypocrisy from Democrats, and past instances where Republicans were labeled fascists or extremists. Panel discussions turned heated, hosts interrupted guests, experts debated intent versus impact. But beneath the noise was a deeper reality. Controversy drives attention, and attention drives ratings. Whether condemning or defending Leavitt, the media ensured one thing: her words would not be forgotten. The power and danger of political language. Political language has always been sharp. But in recent years, it has grown increasingly extreme. Terms once reserved for enemies of the state are now used against political rivals, journalists, activists, entire voting blocs. When politicians label opponents as criminals or terrorists, critics warn that it dehumanizes fellow citizens, erodes trust in democratic institutions, and deepens polarization. Supporters argue it's simply hard truth-telling, stripped of political correctness. The Leavitt controversy sits squarely at this crossroads. Is this bold rhetoric, or reckless escalation? Historical context. This is not new. While the outrage feels fresh, the tactic itself is not new. American history is filled with moments where political groups labeled opponents as traitors, enemies, un-American. From the Red Scare to post-9/11 politics, fear-based language has often been used to mobilize support. What is new is the speed of dissemination, the permanence of viral clips, and the intensity of online reaction. A single statement today doesn't fade, it lives forever, replayed, reframed, and reinterpreted endlessly. Levitt's words are now part of that permanent record. Intent versus impact, the central debate. At the heart of the controversy is a fundamental debate. Does intent matter more than impact? Levitt and her defenders argue. She was criticizing policies. She was expressing frustration. She was using rhetorical emphasis. Critics respond. Words influence behavior. Language shapes perception. And public figures carry responsibility. Even if the intent wasn't to incite harm, the impact, they argue, is still dangerous. This tension defines modern political outrage. Why this matters beyond one clip. This story isn't just about Caroline Levitt. It's about where American politics is heading, how language is weaponized, and whether outrage has become the primary political strategy. As elections approach, rhetoric will only intensify. What we tolerate now becomes the baseline for what comes next. Transition to part 2. In the next part of this video, we'll dive deeper into the exact context of Levitt's remarks, what she said after the backlash, how Democratic leaders responded, and whether this controversy helps or hurts her political future. Because in modern politics, outrage can destroy a career, or launch it to the next level. And Caroline Levitt may be betting on the latter.